Hi guys, before we continue on with this video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is my 100th video on my YouTube channel. I just wanted to say to you guys, thank you so much for being subscribed to my channel, to watching my videos, communicating with me either in the comments section or on my social media. Thank you all so much for helping me get to 100 videos on YouTube. It's crazy to think that almost 3 years ago, because my 3-year anniversary is going to be at the end of next month, that in over 3 years I've created over 100 videos ranging from all sorts of different types of YouTube content, and I'm just so happy and proud and all the things about where this channel has come from and where it is now, and I can't not wait for the next 100 videos, the next year of YouTube. A lot of things are going to be happening, so I cannot wait for that. And again, I just want to say thank you guys so much, and without further ado, let's continue on with the video. Hello YouTube, my name is rhianaB, and welcome back to another episode of my Survivor Review. So aftermath from last Tribal Council, we had Kellen, who basically had no choice but to come clean with her extra vote, because everyone clearly saw that there was an extra vote, especially when it was down to so little people. And she came clean and admitted that she did vote twice on Laurel, and this makes Laurel very suspicious of Kellen, which honestly would make anyone feel suspicious, because when you put 2 votes on someone, automatically that's just like, you're out to get me, you don't trust me, sort of thing. So now Laurel's in a situation where she needs to decide possibly where her numbers are truly gonna lie. We are getting to the nitty-gritty of the rest of the show, and she's got to make those decisions for her to even make it anywhere near to the end. So as we saw in last week's preview, the reward challenge this week is the loved one visit, and I've said this multiple times. I've done this review series for a while now, and I've said it multiple times. Every time this comes up, I always say it. I love the loved one visit. I think it's such a refreshing thing to see these contestants and see them kind of show their heart and show their emotion, because in this game that does tend to be hidden away, or, you know, if it is emotion, it's basically based off things from the game that can be very seedy, very, you know, those sort of thing. It's not like happy emotion a lot of the time, but in this case it is, and I just love seeing that. I did notice that there are most of the loved ones were brother and sister. They were siblings, with the exception of Wendell, Dom, Donathan, and Angela. Everyone else had brother and sister. I don't recall a season ever where that's actually happened. I just thought it was kind of interesting that they all chose their siblings. Angela also had her daughter. Donathan had his aunt, especially since we already know from Donathan that his mom and his grandmother couldn't even come out because I think his grandmother is the one who is sick, or they're both sick. I can't exactly remember the whole story. But yeah, it was his aunt. Who else? Wendell had his dad, and Dom had his wife. So this wasn't a challenge where the loved ones would participate, which I know people kind of are like back and forth on which one they like better. I think it just depends on who are the ones participating. It also depends on what the challenge is. So in this case, it wouldn't have been much. I don't think having a loved one would have helped. However, this is kind of similar to the one in I can't remember if this was last season or if it was the season before, where they did like a similar thing where they had to like dig underneath. No, I think it was Millennials versus Gen X. I think I just remembered. Like where they had to like dig underneath like the thing and had to like toss a bag or do something at the end. It's like, it was pretty similar to how they've done it in the past. Anyway, Sebastian wins and takes Dom, Wendell, and Donathan on the trip with him. Except there's a twist that involves Ghost Island. So what they have to do is Sebastian has to choose between the 4 of them, the 4 guys, and if they can't come to a unanimous decision or someone doesn't step up, then the girls can decide who to send, or they can send one themselves to go as well. So Sebastian said, obviously I won and I'm not gonna go. And he left it kind of open to the guys, said like, does anyone want to go to Ghost Island? And Wendell automatically is like, yes, I will go. I will sacrifice my loved one to get an advantage in the game. Because at Ghost Island, instead of having to play the game a chance, there actually is a waiting advantage that he doesn't have to do anything for except just go there and figure out what it is. And that's a pretty big deal. And then, because usually you have to risk you know, your vote or something else to even get close to an advantage. But in this case, it's already there waiting for you. So Wendell takes the opportunity to go, and he goes to Ghost Island, and we find out it's actually the second chance in a challenge advantage from Survivor Philippines, the one that Malcolm famously won. And he uses the advantage, and he could not follow through, and he ends up being voted out that same night. He couldn't pull together to get that challenge because it's actually a pretty big Survivor classic. It's the challenge where they have to balance like this little silver ball on a little groove on a piece of wood, and they have to like put pressure on multiple logs to keep it kind of steady. But the thing is, you can't have too shaky hands or the ball is gonna fall, and you can't like put too much pressure on the logs because too much pressure will make it kind of just implode on itself. It's a very difficult challenge, and I say every time, if anyone has like really shaky hands or like they're easily stressed by this sort of a thing, then there's no way they could win. So not only does he get the advantage, but he also gets some time to practice, which is a big advantage because you can at least try to see how long you can go or how certain methods to keep the ball where it needs to stay, sort of a thing. So that's a pretty big advantage for Wendell. Now we are at the reward, and Dom is basically saying he's very much open to having just an all-guy alliance because he has all the guys there, and I feel like he has a trust in every single person that he's on the reward with. Even Donathan, who wasn't even original Navidi member, he kind of came in last minute, but there has been this secret thing with Dom, Wendell, Laurel, and Donathan that, you know, he feels a sense of trust. However, Donathan doesn't quite feel that open to it. He's still very loyal to Laurel, and he still wants to kind of play his own game. So that kind of, it seeps in, he takes in the idea, but how he's going to execute that's kind of up for debate. And now back at camp, Kellen, as we have learned from her, she's very emotional, and she's very pissed. She hates the fact that Sebastian took all of the guys with them on the reward, and that they didn't send one of the girls to Ghost Island to get that advantage. And to her, this is immediately like, you know, the guys are against us, we need to pull in the girls. Which, in hindsight, is a smart move. There are enough of the girls that they could pull something off here. But the thing that bothers me, yet again, and I've said it before, I don't like it when Kellen is this emotional. I don't like it that, she just puts so much like personal you know, feelings into a lot of these decisions when this is a game for $1 million, when a lot of people tend to put their personal opinions and whatnot on the side. But she doesn't do that. She plays with her heart, and in a way that rubs me the wrong way. Also, I have a question that I kind of was saying to myself. The other girls, like Laurel and Angela, they were kind of feeding into the fire. Now, fueling the fire to Kellen. And my question is, were they doing that because they themselves were upset, or were they actually just kind of fueling Kellen's own fire? I don't know, because they didn't seem as upset as Kellen. Well, Kellen tends to be more upset than anyone else, but it's just the matter of, I don't know, it just seems like it. I kind of wonder if they were just playing her. And I could be wrong, maybe it was the edit, I don't know, but that's kind of how I read the situation. But anyway, they decide to kind of get the girls together and try to get either Wendell or Dom out. Now, this puts Laurel, a lot of Laurel talk this episode, a lot of focus on her because she is technically still with Wendell and Dom. So she knows a lot more information. Like, she knows that they have idols. She knows that how loyal they can be and how strong that they are. But then Laurel's thinking, well, how could I possibly beat them if we get to the end? I trust them, but I don't know if I can get to the end with them, and if I do get to the end with them, could I even win? And it's a thing that I can't remember if I brought this up in the past. Laurel is playing a strong game, but her problem is she's playing too quiet of a game, at least in my opinion. Whereas Dom and Wendell, they're playing very out loud and making semi-big moves and stuff like that. Laurel's playing very quiet. And depending on the jury, that could either work for you or work against you. So it's kind of like, it's a little kind of all over the place. And it's really hard to explain, but it's like, you've got to really choose, like, do you want to go with trust or do you want to go with possibly winning $1 million here? So we move on to the immunity challenge, and it was a showdown between Dom and Donathan. Very shocking that Donathan was in the end there. He was holding on for dear life, but his hands were shaking too much, and he dropped the ball. You know, pun intended there. And Dom ends up winning immunity, and that puts Wendell and Chelsea on the chopping block for Tribal Council tonight. So now that Dom has won immunity, now the girls are saying, okay, this is our time to get Wendell out of here. And the girls automatically go to Donathan and open up saying, this is what we want to do. We want to get Wendell out. He's too powerful. We need to break up the Dom and Wendell, you know, duo here. And he's open, again, he's reading into it. And then he goes to his number one ally, which is Laurel. They talk, especially since Laurel's also been talking to Dom and the girls. They talk it out, and they weigh out their opinions and what could they do tonight. Donathan seems like he wants to make the big move. And from us, in our point of view, that means, yes, get rid of Wendell. He is, bar none, the biggest threat in this game right now. And he wants to make that big move. But Laurel still feels a loyalty to Wendell and Dom that, you know, it's kind of clouding, does she want to make the big move now, or does she want to wait till later? That can get you in some trouble, because waiting for big moves can end up you getting played yourself. So I would be on Donathan's side, being like, okay, we need to make this happen now, and we can we can deal with the consequences later, or try to get out of them once this tribal is over. So basically, we're just kind of left up with what are the two of them going to do, because they are the ones who are going to determine who goes home tonight. So we get the tribal council. Donathan, I don't know where this came from, but he like dropped the mic multiple times in Tribal. And what he was saying was like getting everyone on Navidi like panicked. Like you just saw everyone like looking around at each other, having confused looks on their faces. And I kind of was low-key kind of proud of him that he kind of got Navidi so worked up. And I guess in a way that could have been a burden, not a burden, but it could have reflected badly on Donathan, only because he's revealing how open he can be. And I think even Wendell or Dom made the comment, like, he tends to be very open and that kind of a thing. But what he was saying was in fact true. You know, at least he wasn't like dropping fake information or false information. He was telling the truth. He knew that, you know, there was going to be a blind side tonight, that Navidi is going to have cracks and that we will fit into them, and that type of thing. And it's just kind of leads to this whole thing of like Navidi now not really trusting one another. And it's so interesting how just a few, you know, comments from one person can just make everything in Tribal Council kind of feel like, oh my god, what's about to happen next? And that's exactly what happened. So, I just thought that was, I kind of was just like low-key proud of Donathan, because we're not used to seeing that side of him that often, so I loved that. And also now the big question is, will Wendell play his idol? He made a comment earlier in the episode saying, I may bring my idol tonight, I probably will play it tonight if I feel the need to. But the fact being that he looked so panicked, it made me think, did he even bring it with him? Because did he actually feel secure enough to not bring it tonight? But then he got panicked, and my first thought was, oh god, did he even bring his idol at all? If he's that panicked, if he were, you know, if he had his idol on him, he wouldn't look that panicked. At least I wouldn't think he would. So my thought was, oh god, did he even have it in his bag? So we get to the vote. Wendell does not play his idol. And that's a big move to me, because he did get votes, but it ends up that Donathan and Laurel decide to vote off Chelsea. So Chelsea is the next person voted off of Survivor Ghost Island, and she becomes the 6th member of the jury. I really did think that this would have been the big opportunity to get Wendell out. I realize there's a lot of like other factors that go into this decision, but I really do think that Donathan and Laurel should have voted off Wendell, because he is the bigger threat. Yes, Chelsea is a challenge beast. She's won 2 challenges in a row, and had she won tonight, you know, that would have made it her a bigger target. But I kind of felt like that was just the safe option. Or at least, you know, maybe they saw it as being a way to cut ties with the girls. I just feel like that was kind of just a safe vote. It just wasn't the vote I would have picked. I would have picked Wendell to go home, because if he gets to the end, he's going to make it very difficult for anyone to even have a shot at winning this game, because he's been playing very, very well. And I kind of just wish they had taken the shot tonight, and they didn't. Anyway, moving on to next week, we have Donathan, who may have caught Dom either finding an idol, finding an advantage. So that'll lead to some interesting things. And then Donathan, just apparently the players come out of Donathan. He now is going to be talking to people, probably wanting to get Dom out, and Dom is really, you know, worried, and at one point he's quoted as saying, like, you know, he's gone rogue, he's gone rogue. So it's going to be interesting to see Donathan's gameplay for the rest of the season now, as well as seeing what this is going to do to Laurel, because she's still kind of caught between Donathan and Dom and Wendell. So where is this going to put her? So there's a lot of things up in the air right now. So moving on from that into the chopping block for possible next week, Dom is probably going to be a big target yet again. Wendell probably will be up there as well. I actually think that maybe the girls will also be in trouble. The only people I think are truly safe right now are Laurel and Donathan, and granted that could change, because if it's anything like what Desiree did when she tried to make a big move and it failed, it could happen to Donathan, but maybe it won't. Maybe this will be the case of making a big move and it actually works. So I honestly think everyone is on the chopping block except for Laurel and Donathan. So that'll make things a little bit interesting next week, and I cannot wait to see all the drama that will ensue. Alright guys, that is it for this week's review. If you guys like it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What did you think of this week's episode? And if you want to see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys today, and until the next video, bye! Mwah.